Tier list. Tier list. Season 21 has reworked a ton of exotic armor. In this video, we're going to be ranking all of it based on viability. Yeah, that's about it. Let's hop right in. Let's get into it. So I'm going to be buffing these not only on their overall power level, but how well their buffs fit their original design. So, for example, we'll start with Radiant Dance Machines. These didn't get skyrocketed in power level or anything like that, but their buff was so good, it fitted so well. So it went from, you know, you could only dodge within a certain radius, to now you can leave and kills activated, and it works so well with Reaper that, you know, I'm gonna have to put this in at least A tier, bro. Now that might be a hot take, but bro, listen, it's my tier list. Get off me. Get off me. It's my tier list. Alright, so let's move on. Now, Chromatic Fire. Listen, bro, like, I know a lot of people are going to be upset about this, but this thing is still garbage. I don't care how much damage they give it. The fact that you need precision kills to activate it, bro, like, it's not that crazy. I'll give it, it's not D tier, but come on, bro. Best I could do is, you know, high C. You know, maybe low B. It depends on where everything ends up. You know, we might move some stuff around. Now I'm going to jump around here. Let's talk about Stompees, bro. Now, I have never been a Stompees main in PvP, so I am just going to go off of what my homie Prophet said. He said that this is absolutely the worst nerf that he has seen in his life. He doesn't even care about the airborne effectiveness. Prophet said, you know, I dodged so much in PvP that these are now completely useless. I pretty much dodge whenever it's off cooldown, and I hear that. So I'm going to have to go D tier, maybe low C tier. It depends on what we end up putting in D tier, okay? That's where Stompees are going to sit for now. Now, Dunemarchers. Why am I starting with Dune? Get off me, bro. Dunemarchers. Let's be honest. They were broken. They were broken. I'm going to have to call this S tier. Now, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. They did get nerfed. But Dunemarchers are still Dunemarchers. They still do what they're supposed to do. They get the chain damage when you are aping. They're still fantastic. And this nerf was an excellent nerf, bro. It was excellent. Let's talk about it. Starfire Protocol nerfed into the ground. Dunemarchers, it was a good nerf. It was a good nerf. They still accomplished what they're supposed to accomplish. They weren't absolutely decimated with this nerf. So I really like that. That was a really good balance update, Bungie. Keep it up. Do that to Starfire. Do that to Starfire. Speaking of Starfire, D tier. Behind Stompees. I'm going to put that all the way at the end because, bro, what did they do to my boy? Why did they do Starfire like that? They had no need to nerf Starfire that hard. Nerf Starfire. Nerf Starfire. Don't nerf it that hard, though. Don't nerf it that hard, though. Come on, Bungie. Come on, Bungie. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. It went from a 20% grenade energy gain to 2%. Are you kidding me? You couldn't start with 15? 10? You had to go all the way to 2? 2? Come on, bro. That's too much. That's too much. Hard nerf. That's a D tier. Alright. Athrys' Embrace. I don't even know what they were trying to do to this. If you watched my testing exotics video, they said they buffed the strength, but the cooldown doesn't go up at all. The damage doesn't go up at all. I'm going to have to give that a D tier. What did you even do? What did you buff? What did you buff? You buffed nothing. That was just the weirdest buff of my life. Stronghold, though. Stronghold, though. S tier. S tier. I'm going to put that in front of Dunemarchers because their power level was just catapulted. Now, I just recently saw a comment that said, ooh, this description is kind of cat because I said they went from mid to S tier. Come on, bro, let's be honest. Nobody was running Stronghold. Nobody was running Stronghold. And you're going to be like, well, popularity doesn't necessarily synchronize with overall viability. Bro, they're much better now. Get off me. It's S tier. It's S tier. You get 50% damage resist while blocking with a sword. And then when you stop blocking, if you hit someone, you get restoration times 2. This exotic lets you use swords in endgame PvE. I literally used it in a build guide 30 levels under power, and I was just using a sword, and I was just killing everything. You have to go watch that build. It's on your screen right now. Go watch the build. It's so good. Stronghold is a very powerful exotic. Get off me. Dawn Chorus. Now, I'm going to be honest. Dawn Chorus has never been particularly bad, right? But this buff was kind of terrible. So, you know, we're doing a mix of power level and what the buff brought it for our overall rating. The power level was kind of mid before, and the buff, they just increased the damage of Dawnblade. You know, it's kind of mid. It's kind of mid. I'm gonna give it a, you know, a strong B tier. It's not bad by any means, but you know, nothing crazy. Same thing with Mantle of Battle Harmony. Like, it's kind of mid, bro. Like, they didn't change anything about it. They just increased the damage, and they did make it so that when you get kills, the damage increase extends. But I don't like something like this where it's a situational exotic. It's not useful all the time. All of the best exotics are pretty much always useful, like Dunemarchers, like Radiant Dance Machines, old Stompees. They just give you benefits all of the time. Ophidian Aspect, you know what I'm saying? This is only viable right after your super is fully charged, and then you have like a limited amount of time where you need to just frag out. It's only really useful on one build with Aegir Scepter, and for that reason, I'm gonna have to give it, you know, B. You know, I might even give it a high C, bro. That might be a hot take. Let me know what you think down below. Now, I don't even know what this sealed Ahamkara grasps. This is the worst exotic in the history of exotics. It used to be if you land a melee hit, it reloads all your guns. Now, let's be honest, that is terrible. So they buffed it. They made it so if you kill someone with your melee, it reloads all of your guns. Bro, that's not enough. That's not enough. This is terrible. This is D tier. There's not much to say. This is not a good buff. Bungie, you need to do better. You need to do better. Increase the damage of melee. Fully recharge my melee. Come on, bro. You got to do more than that. You got to do more than that. Sanguine Alchemy, though. Sanguine Alchemy. Let's talk about it. S tier. We're not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about it. This was a fantastic buff. Fantastic. Sanguine Alchemy, if you don't know, it makes your rift last forever, okay? It gives you a perk called Blood Magic, where if you get kills, Blood Magic will pause the duration of your rift. Additional kills increase the duration of Blood Magic. On top of that, they gave it a buff where it gives you 17% damage bonus to weapons matching your subclass. Now, I made a build for Arc, and this build absolutely shreds. You need to go check out that build video, bro. Sanguine Alchemy, I don't want to hear it. That exotic is S tier in overall power level and in buffs. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If you think I'm lying, if you think I'm capping, go watch the build video. Go test the build. I don't even care. Even if you watch the build video and you're like, that's not really that good. Go try it, bro. Go try it, bro. You like, come on, bro. That's enough. That's enough. Claws of Ahamkara? You know, I can't really, in good faith, give it D tier because I do love Claws of Ahamkara. You know, it brings me back to when I was running Stasis Warlock and I was just spamming the freeze melee. But this buff is terrible, and let's be honest, the overall power level is kind of terrible. You know, I don't really want to give it D tier. I don't want to give it D tier. I'll give it a low C, bro. I'll give it a low C. Let me know what you think about that. You know, maybe that's a hot take. But, you know, they're not completely useless. You know, you got your melee build. There's no such thing as a Warlock melee build, though. It's kind of D tier, bro. It's kind of D tier. It's kind of D tier. Let me know what you think, okay? Khepri's Horn? Khepri's Horn, though? Let's be honest. This nerf? Terrible. Terrible. Now, let's start with where it was sitting before. Where it was sitting before was, you know, solid B, you know, maybe a high C tier. Not that bad, but not that good, you know. So what it does is, if you don't know, when you cast your barricade, it shoots out like this like little fiery thing, okay? And in PvP, it can one-shot because the fiery thing shoots forward and then it comes back. It's like a wave frame grenade launcher. It could one-shot if it hit you twice, you know, first when it was going out and then once when it was coming back. But they're buffed. The way that they buffed it was they made it give you 30 Scorch. And the Scorch doesn't even stack with the fragment that increases Scorch stacks. So it's just locked to 30 Scorch. 30 Scorch is not really doing anything. It's not bringing you that much closer to an ignition. This exotic is kind of terrible, but it can one-shot you in PvP. That is why it is not D tier. I think you guys are sleeping on that exotic. It's not that bad. Now let's be honest. Vesper of Radius? D tier. I'm not going to put it below these two, because these two are just awful. You know, it's definitely below Starfire Protocol. Vesper of Radius is terrible. It just gives you an arc pulse that comes out of your rift. And the way that they buffed it was they made it so that multiple arc pulses come out. But that's not enough, bro. That is not enough, bro. That is not enough, bro. It's not enough. It's not enough. is not enough. Like, you had to do something else. You had to make it so, you know, when the arc pulses hit you, you get rift energy. Or make the arc pulses actually do a ton of damage, or actually have like a huge radius of effect, or jolt, or something. This is terrible. It always will be terrible. Stop. Bungie, stop. Now let's be honest. Path of Burning Steps, it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, I think I'm going to give it a B tier. Above Dawn Chorus. You know, it's not bad. It gives you that little damage bonus. You know, they buffed a bunch of old exotics by giving them damage bonuses stronger than Surge. So if you don't know, before Path of Burning Step, it made it so that you are pretty much immune to slow and freeze. You know, it's a lot harder to actually slow you down. I have a clip of me just sitting in a Duskfield nade, an enhanced Duskfield nade, one that lasted longer. I'm just sitting in it and not getting frozen. But after the buff, I am getting frozen by the Duskfield, so that was kind of weird, Bungie. But what they did was, as you get multi-kills with this gun, you get an increased, a stacking damage bonus to your solar weapons. Now that is not bad, so I can't in good faith give it any lower than a B tier. Ophidian aspect. Ophidians though? Ophidians though? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I gotta give it a B tier above Dawn Chorus. Dawn Chorus is kind of mid. I have to give it a B tier because this exotic still does, you know, the good parts about it, which lets you switch to your shotgun quickly in PvP, but it gets rid of the annoying part of the melee lunge range. The melee lunge range was absolutely broken. I'm going to show a clip right now. You can see that it was broken. The nerf was well deserved. I have to give it a B tier, bro. I have to give it a B tier. Promethium Spur? This exotic was just nerfed, bro. I have to give it a D tier. It's even worse than Starfire. At least Starfire gives you 2 charges of your grenade. You know, like, that's not terrible. It does still technically give you increased grenade cooldown. This thing does nothing, okay? What it's supposed to do is, you know, when you get a kill and your rift is fully charged, it spawns an empowering rift and a healing rift at the opponent's location. Okay, they nerfed that. Why did they nerf it? They nerfed it. They made it so that you need to be standing in a rift to actually get that kill where, you know, it spawns the double rift. The issue is, it also gives you rift energy when you are standing in your rift and you get solar kills, right? The issue is your rift is going to end before your rift is even fully charged to proc that double rift, okay? Does that make sense? They literally nerfed it into the ground. Like, it just completely lost its functionality. I don't know what they were thinking there. Honestly, this is worse than these two. Because at least, you know, Athrys' Embrace, it still bounces off walls. It still bounces. And this, at least, it still reloads your gun. That's not really useful, but it does what it says it's going to do. This just does nothing. This exotic is completely useless. Bungie, fix that exotic. Why did you nerf it and try to buff it, but you nerfed its like core functionality? You need to change something about that. Second chance. Okay. Now, I have had a build. I actually just dropped the build yesterday. But basically, I've been using this build in PvE to solo GMs for a long time now. And basically, it gives you infinite weaken. You know, you pair your Bastion with your offensive Bulwark, and that just gives you a super fast grenade. Grenades weaken targets. But now, this build has been enhanced even more with Second Chance because your shield throw actually weakens enemies as well. I really like this exotic. I can't in good faith say that it's anything like S tier or anything like that. You know, it's probably a strong B tier. It's really built up by the rest of the build. The exotic itself, you know, I can't really in good faith give it any higher than a high B tier. You know, that's not too bad. Mask of Bakris. Mask of Bakris. Now, here's the thing about this exotic. You know, I'm gonna have to give it... You know what? On second thought, I'm moving Second Chance up, and I'm giving Mask of Bakris B tier. Because Second Chance is definitely better than Mask of Bakris, right? Here's the thing about Mask of Bakris. You get this nice buff to arc damage, 25%. That is pretty damn solid, right? And it's even higher on slowed and frozen targets. The thing about Mask of Bakris, and the biggest issue with it, is that, you know, you get that little teleport dodge, but your dodge cooldown doesn't start until the damage bonus ends. I've never liked that about Mask of Bakris. If they got rid of that, dude, this exotic would be so good. But like, it's just a really weird exotic. You don't really need to move that much in PvE, so the dodge isn't that useful. It's more cool than anything. The reason that you're really using this in PvE is for that damage buff. And, you know, the damage buff is just on such a weird cooldown versus something like Sanguine Alchemy. You always have the damage buff, or, you know, Radiant Dance Machines. You always have a Surge mod. By the way, I am going to release a Radiant Dance Machines build either tomorrow or the day after that, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, Mask of Bakris, you know, it's like B tier. It's kind of cool, but, you know, it's kind of ass. Raiju's Harness? Raiju's Harness? Bungie. Why? Okay. Now here's the thing. I'm going to get some hate for this. Raiju's Harness is the worst exotic in Destiny 2. It always has been. And they nerfed it. Why did you nerf it? Why did you nerf it? Why did you nerf it? Why did you nerf it, Bungie? Why? Okay. Now I'm going to get some hate because I've had several comments telling me, ooh, Raiju's Harness is good. It's actually very meta in PvP. Bro, I have never seen Raiju's Harness used in PvP in my life. Bro, I have 4,000 hours in this game. I haven't seen it used once. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. Stop the cap. But even if you think it's good, okay? Objectively, it has been nerfed for no reason. It wasn't meta or anything like that. People weren't really using it like that, but they nerfed it. So what it used to do was, you know, it used to not drain your super energy that much, okay? You actually used to lose no additional super energy for blocking. They got rid of that. So now when you're blocking, your super just completely drains so fast. Now in exchange for that nerf, what they tried to do was, you know, when you end your super, because this exotic also lets you end your super, similar to Chaos Reach, and that saves a little bit of super energy, what they tried to do was, you know, when you end it, you get a little explosion blind effect, okay? But people are saying this is a PvP exotic. The blind effect is actually weak in PvP. Like, they created a brand new, weaker blind effect just for this exotic. Why? Why? Why couldn't you just give it the normal blind effect? This exotic is not meta. It's not good. Why did you nerf it and then try to buff it but give it a nerfed blind effect? What were you thinking, Bungie? Now, it does give you the damage bonus when you're coming out of your super, so I can't in good faith say that it's weaker than Promethium Spur, but I really want to. I really want to, guys. You know, I'll put it here. Maybe it's better than Starfire. No, it's not. No, it's not, because Starfire gives you 2 grenade charges. You know, that's not bad. I am really upset about how they did Raiju's Harness. You know, I'm going to move on. Eternal Warrior? Eternal Warrior. Now, let's be honest. This exotic is nothing insane. It does the same thing as Path of Burning Step. If you don't know, that means when you get multi-kills with your arc weapons, you're getting a stacking damage bonus to your arc weapons, all the way up to 25%. In addition to that, you get Overshield when in your Fist of Havoc super. Now let's be honest, Fist of Havoc, not the best super. It does blind though. It does kill unstoppable champions because of that. It does blind, but let's be honest, not the best super. You would rather have the Overshield on Thunder Crash. I guess you don't really need it, but I don't know, man. It's not that good, that part of it. But when your Fist of Havoc ends, you also get the maximum 25% damage bonus. So with that in mind, you know, I have to say it's definitely better than Mask of Bakris. You know, it is better than Mask of Bakris because you pretty much always have that damage bonus. You know what, with that in mind, I'm going to move Path of Burning Steps up one. You know, maybe it could be A tier. It could honestly be A tier. It could be A tier. Yeah, I'm going to call it A tier because honestly, you know, the slow effect from Path of Burning Steps, that's not going to happen too much in PvE at all, which is really where you want to use this exotic, right? But this, you know, you get the Overshield and you get the maximum effect after you cast your super. You know, the super is good for clearing ads. I'm going to give it an A tier because 25% damage bonus, you know, that's pretty damn good. No backup plans. Now, this is a really interesting one because, you know, I thought it was going to be absolutely broken in PvP. It isn't. What it's broken in is in PvE. It gives you a 60% damage bonus to shotguns when you have an Overshield. Also, when you get a shotgun kill while you have Overshield, it refreshes your health and your overshield. This effectively lets you use shotguns in endgame PvE. Now, it is not meta or anything, but that damage bonus absolutely is meta. You should try it, man. This with Legend of Athrys is doing some crazy damage right now. You know, I can't really in good faith give it anything higher than B tier though, because it doesn't really give you the sustainability with a objectively, you know, bad weapon that's like Stronghold does. It's not really A tier. I'll call it B tier though, because it is outputting some crazy damage right now. Point contact cannon brace. Yo, let's be honest. I am wearing a hoodie in my room. It's like 90 degrees right now. Why am I wearing a hoodie in my room? Why am I wearing a hoodie? Bro, I wear a hoodie in every video. Why couldn't it be a t-shirt, bro? Point contact cannon brace? Here's the issue with this exotic. It doesn't give you that much melee energy, right? You would much rather use Insurmountable Skull Fort, right? Because when you get an arc kill with that one, you get your full arc melee back. This doesn't give you that much melee energy. Now, the way that they buffed it was while you are amplified and you use your Thunderclap, there is like a lightning strike that does additional damage. The damage is not that much, bro. It's not that much. It's not that much. I'm gonna have to give it a C tier. This exotic it's kind of bad. It's kind of bad. It's better than Mantle of Battle Harmony. Why is Mantle of Battle Harmony here? It's definitely better than Khepri's. I like that. I like where it's at. Now we're on to the last one. Oathkeeper? Oathkeeper though? Let's be honest. I'm hyping it up. Oathkeeper's kind of mid. It's kind of mid. I'm gonna give it a B tier. Now hear me out. It does give you that increased damage for holding your bow down, which is nice. It is nice, but spamming your bow shots still does more damage. Okay, so this exotic perk is kinda useless, but it kind of isn't. Hear me out, because when you are bowing stuff down, you don't always have an opening. So while you're sitting there charging your bow, waiting for that opening, you are getting that increased damage. So the increased damage will happen sometimes. You know, it sometimes will be useful, but it's nothing crazy. And you know, it is still better to just not charge if the option is available to you. So, you know, it's kind of mid. I'm not going to call it that bad. Is it worse than no backup plan? You know, I'm going to move this over. I like where it's sitting. I like where it's sitting right now. Maybe it's worse than Path of Burning Steps. Now, let's do a final sweep over and make sure everything is in the right place. Okay? I like where Sanguine Alchemy is. I like where Stronghold is. Definitely Dunemarchers should be there. Radiant Dance Machines, they are so damn fun. Watch out for that build. It's coming soon, guys. Watch out for that build. Yeah, it's definitely better than Second Chance. Eternal Warrior. Is Eternal Warrior better than Second Chance? Is Path of Burning Steps? I mean, it pretty much does the same thing. I'm going to move Path of Burning Steps up one. Path of Burning Steps is definitely A tier with that damage buff. You know, Ophidian, yeah, that looks good to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Appreciate you watching. If you did, be sure to subscribe for daily Destiny 2 videos. Either way, I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next video.